Hey everybody, welcome to the WGU Alumni Podcast. I'm Jeff Burton, the Senior Manager of Alumni Engagement here at WGU. And today we have a special guest, one of our 2025 distinguished graduates, and that's Brian Mueller from Chicago. Now, Brian's story is really cool. Brian's career started literally 5 feet underground, working as a union laborer digging ditches for the city of Chicago. But he didn't stop there. He is now thriving as the Assistant Commissioner for the Chicago Water Department after a couple degrees from WGU. Brian, I cannot wait for you to share your story with our audience. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you today.
So you are from Chicago, which is arguably one of the coolest cities in the country, if not the world. Brian, what's the best thing about being from Chicago?
It's a hard question to answer. So many great things about Chicago. The sports teams are world class. You have the best beaches. You have Navy Pier. But look at me. The food is one of the greatest things. You have the best foods from all the world, from pizza, tacos, hot dogs, you name it, you got it in Chicago.
All right. So, Brian, if I come to town and you're taking me out to dinner, where are you taking me first?
It's a hard sell. You got Chicago pizzas, you got like Illuminati's, and you got Nona Silvia's, or we can go to Byron's, get a hot dog with a salad on it, or a Chicago style dog. Do you know what Italian beef is?
Yes, I've had Italian beef. Absolutely.
Good. Because I think that's where I would probably take somebody, because growing up in Chicago, Italian beef is one of the staple of your diet. But people come in and like, well, what do you mean a beef? What kind of beef is it? I'm like, oh, we got to teach you.
I love that. Well, maybe I'm going to take you up on that someday. And I want to jump into your story because you work for the city of Chicago and have had some experience in that. And you stated that you truly started 5 feet underground in your career. Tell me more about that, Brian.
Yeah, so I'm very proud. I got hired on as a union labor apprentice, a construction laborer, and very, very proud to say I started in the ditch. And I was taught there's a right way to excavate, there's a wrong way to excavate, how to call in the heavy machineries, how to hand dig the right way and more efficiently. And like I said, it was a great job. It paid very well. When it's 100 degrees out, we're digging in the ditch to give people clean drinking water. And when it's negative 15-degree wind chill, we're in the water, stopping a leak to give people clean drinking water. As City of Chicago employees, we do our best to be efficient and get people what they need.
Yeah. How long were you in that role?
I was in there for about 7 years before I transitioned. I applied and tested as a laborer's estimator, which is kind of hard to understand. It's basically like a project manager in a sense. I was doing a lot of cost analysis, and assisting on the various projects. I reported to a deputy commissioner and worked in various projects, bridging construction with senior management.
So you were there for quite some time in that role. I'm curious, what's one lesson you learned during that time?
I think one lesson I carried with me is measure twice and cut once. So, and that can be applied to everything. And what I mean by that is you got to stick a pipe, you measure it twice to make sure it's right, and you cut it. So construction, that applies. But same thing with anyone in business. When you about send an email, measure twice, check the email, reread it. Did I spell check? Are my I's capitalized? That kind of thing. So always, look at your scope and your objectives. Measure twice, cut once.
And tell me about your family.
All right. So my father was probably my biggest role model. He was a union pipe fitter for over 40 years. And the unique thing about him was he was a pipe fitter, but after he passed, going through all his childhood stuff, I saw all his report cards were straight A's. My dad was the happiest man. And the reason why he was happy because he was a pipe fitter, a construction guy, because he wanted to be one, not because he had to be one. My mother is inspirational. She's a very, very independent woman. She owned her own business for many years. She has some medical things going on now, but she's a great role model for women. She can show us that, in any field, she can run a boardroom and then come home and make dinner. She's just a great, great mom. This is inspiration to me to this day. I have 2 brothers. I was a middle child. Middle child syndrome is real. My little brother, John, is a pharmacist. And my older brother, George, runs various project management and procurement for a medical device company.
Very nice. Were you close as a family?
Yeah, very close. We played sports together in the alleys. Which I don't know if you guys aren't from Chicagoland. There's alleys in Chicago, and we played in the alleys, basketball, we played football on the streets, and we definitely kept each other tough by fighting each other on a daily basis.
Yeah. What was the best thing about growing up where you grew up?
Just a sense of community. I talk about it in Chicago, Norwich. Norwich is, again, it's right next door to Chicago. the block parties, everyone's brother and sister, and just, everyone watched out for everyone. It was just, it's a tight community, the block parties, the going out to eat with your brothers and his friends. And it's just a great area for families and families to grow.
That's awesome. I can sense your pride for your family and also your community. That's great to hear. Brian, so you spent a number of years doing very demanding, physically and mentally demanding work. I'm curious what kind of self-care you used and practiced to be able to deliver and to perform in those roles.
Yeah, so that's a great question. There was unhealthy things, healthier things. Like I would always have a lot of Monster, a lot of caffeine drinks. I think I was known for that, which wasn't the healthiest. But another thing is healthy. My father-in-law, and when I was a laborer, would bring me V8 fruit drinks because I would keep them in my little cooler, and then lunchtime have a healthy drink versus like a sugar drink. We give you more energy throughout the day, stay hydrated, so you wouldn't cramp up. But also another thing is because again, like I mentioned earlier, is that when you're a water issue, whether it's 105 degrees out, we have to dig and excavate, get to that water line and fix it to get people water. If it's negative 15-degree wind chill and there's a leak, we have to go into the water and again stop that leak. So the right gears, it's something you learn real fast. During the winter you have layers, so you can layer up. Then when you start excavating, you drop a couple layers off. I know I use firefighter gloves in the winter over I had real tight gloves, but I wear the firefighter gloves over them because I could touch hot things, cold things, and they were waterproof.
Oh, wow. Did you ever get injured on the job?
Yeah, actually, I detached my bicep tendon on. I had to have it surgically repaired back on, and that was one of the change agents towards me, wanting to make a change because I was very happy with what I did. I felt very good, like I was helping people get water, I was helping people get new infrastructure, but I was making good money. But the bottom line was, I realized that I've never really been injured before at work before, so when that happened, if that was my back, I wouldn't be able to pick my children up. I wouldn't be able to coach the sports the same way because my arm wasn't the same after the surgery.
So, Brian, our season theme is It's Never Too Late. Was there a defining moment when you realized it wasn't too late for you to invest in yourself?
Yeah, there's talk about like change agents, and the catalyst to me was my two brother-in-laws were looking to go back to school, and they did some research and found out about WGU, and they came to me and said, "Hey, I think you'd be a great fit too." They're like, "You're happy, but I tore my bicep tendon, needed surgery, and had that been my back, it would have adjusted my life with my boys in a negative way." So the catalyst was my brother-in-laws, who one was older than me, one was younger than me, and looking at them and saying, "Yes, I can do this too."
So, Brian, what were the things that they told you about WGU that would benefit you?
So the biggest things were that going back to school wouldn't have worked for me with the traditional brick and mortar facility a school because of the fact that I had at the time three boys. Now I have four, but at the time I had three boys and I had a wife, and she was primarily taking care of the boys at home during the day, teaching them how to live, keeping them alive, and I was providing the income. So yeah, I couldn't go part time and go to school. I couldn't, cut my hours. Also, with the great opportunity I had as a union laborer, I worked 7 to 3:30. I couldn't leave to go to school. So WGU is you go at your own time, at your own pace. If you have to study from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., that's what you do, and that's what I did. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got dressed, showered, got to work, and the day came home, uh, took care of my kids, coached their sports, never sacrificed that. Hang out with my wife, and then from 10 to 1 o'clock, I did my school.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I mean, you're working full time, you're helping your wife with the boys, you're coaching, all of that. What strategies helped you keep going during that a lot of juggling?
The main two things is just time management, being consistent and efficient, and then realizing that there's always going to be sacrifices with time, and you got to figure out what are your whys. My important things are my boys and my wife and my nieces and nephews. I wouldn't sacrifice that time, so I had to sacrifice the sleeping time, and then getting 3 or 4 hours sleep a night isn't good, but I knew it was short term sacrifice for long term results.
Brian, I'm a father as well, and so I understand firsthand the importance of setting that example. Talk to me about the example you were hoping to set for your sons.
That's a great question. I wanted to show them that, even though I was in a spot where it was, I had a great career, I was very proud to be a union laborer, and made good money. but I want to show them that you can do anything at any point in your life. It's never too late, like you stated earlier. So at 36 or 37, whatever it was, I did choose to go back to school. And I made sure that my boys saw me when I graduated as well. I wanted them to know that, hey, and whatever it was, 40 or 41, wherever I walked across the stage after getting my MBA as well. I wanted my boys to see that, to know that it's never too late to change. No matter what you come across in life, you can, change and go the other way if you want to. My brother-in-laws, which I mentioned, were the change catalyst for me as well. Both ended up getting MBAs, taking their WGU degrees, getting accepted to doctoral programs, getting doctorates in their respective fields. And not only do they have their normal, 9-to-5 job, they also are both college adjunct professors as well.
So you were working in that union role. You earned 2 degrees from WGU, and now you're in a new role again with Chicago Water, correct?
Correct. Chicago Water Management, correct.
Tell me a little bit about that role. What projects are you working on, and tell me what that looks like.
So there's various projects. There's various projects I own and various projects I assist on. I work with the lead service line, which is a huge program, making sure we change out the lead lines to the copper lines for clean drinking water. I work with there on auditing, make sure the numbers are correct, make sure that all the data entry is correct, as well as, efficiencies. I also work with things I take pride in is compliance and safety issues. I directly like that because I was somebody in the ditch. So I understand that there are certain things that sound good on paper, but we have to make sure our guys and girls are safe in the ditch. As well as I bridge the Department of Law, other departments, other stakeholders with our department, as well as, People's Gas, ComEd, various companies, Badger, USIC, kind of bridge them so we all work together to work more efficiently and create a safer environment for not only for our workers, my coworkers, but also for the residents of the city of Chicago.
What do you find meaningful about public service?
It's a great question. I think that, I really believe in my heart that, we all should give back a little bit. So one of the things that I love about working for the city of Chicago is that, I know that at the end of the day, even if I'm working on numbers and efficiencies, I'm being fiscally responsible for our department, which is then it's taxpayer money. So we can then do more for our citizens. We can create more opportunities for people in need, because the bottom line is you have to have a budget where you can follow. So if we can be more efficient in certain areas, we can help other people. And I think that, everyone from volunteer coaching to rescuing dogs, me, my wife and kids did. It's if everyone just gave back a little bit more than they could, a little bit more, and stating what they could do, I think we'd be in a much better world.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there someone that you work with, either a boss or a colleague, a peer, that really inspires you in this public service space?
There's a lot of people I can talk about. There's two aspects of it. You can look up and you can look down, or look across. Just three. Looking up. I don't work with the commissioner every single day, but the fact that he is the leader. He goes to events downtown, the mayor's events, and but he walks by and say, hey, hi to everyone, not just me, to everyone. He'll talk to you. Hey, how you doing? He knows your name. That's showing that you're working for someone who's a true leader and everything. But and then also looking across, my coworkers, that I work with, I call ourselves the Mean Girls. It's meaning the two when we go for walks and lunches, and we just joke about it because again, we try and work together and communicate how we can help each other on different things. So I might be better in Excel, so I might help Sam or Candace with Excels they need help with. On the flip side, they might help me with organization because I have ADHD, so they'll help organize things a little better for me. And it's that working together as a team.
What would you say to somebody who wonders if it's too late for them to go after their dreams?
The biggest thing I can say and make it really easy is where were you 20 years ago? Where are you now? Where were you 10 years ago? Where are you now? Where would you want to be in 20 years? If in 20 years you're in the same spot, would you be happy or not? If you'd be happy, then fine. Everyone has their own life, and whatever you determine success is, God bless, that's your life. You should live your best life. You deserve it. But if you want more, whether it's for you or for your children or for your spouse, then you should go out and get that. That was I, as a union laborer, I was making great money. I was very happy. But again, I look at my kids and, things are expensive. Times are changing. So I wanted to give my wife what she deserves and my boys what they deserve. And that's why I went back and did it. And I think that everyone else should do it too. It's never too late. It's only too late when you decide it's too late.
Brian, it's been great to have you share your story I love that you looked at where you were and you wanted to make some changes. You took the endorsement, the recommendation from your brother-in-laws, and you went for it. And so I just want to say thank you for sharing your story with me and our alumni audience. I think there are people likely listening to this that are listening and saying, yes, I want to follow Brian's example, and if he did it, so can I, and I'm going to follow him. So I love that you've shared all of that with us. So Brian, I want to ask you a little bit about career development. Yours is, again, a huge success story. So as you're in the interview process or you're searching for jobs or talking with hiring managers, how are you able to talk about the skills that you've gained and the successes that you've had successfully to see career advancement?
So I think that like everything in life, you got to kind of look at whether you're going to interviews, what are the same questions they're asking or what are the hard questions they're asking. One of the ones that I got was, various interviews. They would say, hey, you went to online school. It was online. And you can tell they were kind of writing it off. And, what I would come back to is just, the facts, yeah, WGU is accredited and, it does rate higher than a lot of brick and mortar colleges. And I would reference some through various research I've done, but also the fact is like, it's going back to computers in the 80s. Not every single person used computers every day in the 80s. Now it's 2025 and we can utilize computers to go to school and save time, logistically as well as financially, drive down that cost, which right now everyone talks about college is expensive, but you are worth the investment, but you got to be fiscally responsible. So utilizing a university like WGU that is accredited and does have the weight behind the degree and can save some money, it is definitely a benefit. So I think you got to be, when you go to those interviews, be ready to answer those questions and have the research to back up the work that you put in.
Yeah, well said. Now I want to look forward for a second, Brian. What's one professional goal you're focused on over the next couple of years?
So that's a great question. So, I have a few goals. One of the goals I want to do professionally, obviously I want to keep moving up the ladder in the department because as you move up, I believe you can make more change the culture to be more understanding and respectful to each other, to just being more efficient, more fiscally responsible, that kind of stuff. So I think, I don't know if I have necessarily right now a spot where I say, hey, I want to end up in this spot in 5 years or 2 years, but just kind of my goal is now, since I made such a big leap through my career, now it's like, hey, I'm looking at the next goal. How can I master this role? Because I'm newer in this role the last couple of years. And how can I then go to the next role? What is the guy ahead of me doing? And what do I need to do to get to that position?
Now, one of the things that I love about my job is I get to talk to people like yourself, Brian, and other graduates from our 4 schools. And I get to hear the success that they're having. And it really is inspiring to me as a WGU graduate myself and also as an employee here in our alumni relations team. And I always love asking this question. I always get a different response. And I want to ask you that same question. And that is, what life hack would you say has led to your success? And can you share that with me and with our audience?
Yeah, I think that the biggest life hack is just, well, I can say there's 2 really. One is just, work as if your boss is watching you or your kids and your wife are watching you. Make them proud. So it's just, work your hardest even when nobody's watching. Make sure you get stuff done on time and it's within scope. That's a big thing. And second thing is it's so easy. It's just the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat people with respect. If it's a guy who comes by or a girl and they clean your cubicle every day, they sweep it, change the garbage, say hi, ask them their name, ask them how they're doing. Number one, you'll have more enjoyment when you see them, but also like just treat people the way you want to be treated.
Now I want to pivot and I want to introduce a new segment here called From the Nest. And so I've got some rapid fire questions that I'm going to send your way. You ready for some rapid fire?
Let's do it, Jeff.
Okay, let's do it. Brian, early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
What's the first thing you do in the morning?
First thing I do in the morning is I drink a cup of coffee and then take a shower. Got to get started.
What's your favorite Chicago sports memory?
By far is when the Chicago Cubs won the World Series. I was with my wife at our first home, and I literally went and woke up my son, Brian. I think he had only 1 or 2 sons at the time. I made him watch as they won the World Series. Go Cubbies.
What's one word to describe the moment you completed your WGU degree?
Mission complete.
How about a quote or a mantra that you live by?
Yeah, I'm going to quote my father. He always told me, he goes, if you can do it, Brian, just do it. Give 100%. And then at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, then it wasn't meant to be, or, you can sleep easy at night because you gave 100%. There's nothing to be stressed about. It wasn't meant to be.
That's good. How about a favorite late night study snack?
Caffeine, Red Bull.
How about a project that's still on your bucket list?
Taking my kids to some of the national parks.
How about a dream vacation spot?
A dream vacation spot is being selfish, taking my wife back to Fiji where we had our honeymoon. Just to spend some time with her because she does so much for our family. I want to do more for her.
And Brian, what makes you proud to be a night owl and a WGU alum?
What makes me proud about being a night owl is the fact that the weight it carries behind the degree. When I tell people I can be proud of the school I went to, the university I went to, and for my brother-in-laws going on to get doctorates because they accepted through WGU, to I have other in-laws that went on to be nurses. WGU is a great university, and the weight back behind it is what makes me proud of being a night owl.
Okay, Brian, you're off the hot seat. Nicely done. You enjoyed what you did. You had a passion. You made a change, as you've discussed with us here. What was the best thing about making that change, would you say?
I think the best thing was just being able to complete the task, meaning that, again, you have to really take a step back. And, my wife had faith in me, and, we did it. It wasn't a me thing. It was an us thing. Even though I was the one doing the work, she watched the kids and made it happen. But you have to remember, I was a construction laborer digging ditches. And then I had this idea that I can go to school. First I got my PMP, then I went to school, got my bachelor's, then COVID happened. So everything's stagnant. Then I get my MBA. Then I go transition in the process, go inside, work as a labor's estimator, inside helping with projects. But I still had this idea that I can be more, I can provide better for my family. And again, you have to remember, I'm still technically in the labor's estimator title, and I want more. So the fact that I got my degrees, completed my degrees with the support of my wife and my family and my kids is my whys, why I wanted to do it. But then also to get the position I got. And again, I didn't have any connections. My first day with the city of Chicago, being citywide, they're like, Mueller, you work north. Me, Sandbags north. But then they sent me south 100 Michigan Avenue. I didn't know the city went that far south. So it's like I didn't have anyone telling me, hey, at the end of the road, you're going to get this position. It was just betting on myself, my wife betting on me, doubling down, knowing I was worth it, and it wasn't too late. I could make this happen. Even when I went for the interview process for the assistant commissioner, the deputy commissioner who I reported to, I was going through the process, and he openly was like, don't tell me about it. Don't say my name. He's like, you got to earn it on your own. And I respected that. And, it's good because at the end of the day, it's me and my wife. We did this. He was very respectful for me, but he was very honest. And I like that. Anyone can do anything they want. You just got to take hard work and grind. Never got out worked, never got out hustled.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know good things are coming your way. You've worked hard. You're continue to, again, invest in yourself, gain the skills necessary. Super awesome. Brian, this has been a great interview. And as we conclude and wrap here today, I'd love to give you the final word.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jeff. It was a pleasure, being with you today, and I thank you for your time. But one thing I want to leave on is I just definitely want to tell you the reason why I'm doing this interview is because I definitely want to help my fellow alum or anyone who's on the fence of what they should or shouldn't do. I can't tell you what's best in your personal situation, but I'll say this. You are definitely worth it. You are worth the investment in your time. You're worth the investment, fiscally, because it will pay off. Me personally, I've seen about a 50% increase in my pay where I would have been because I invested in myself. My wife bet on me, we bet on me, and we were able to do it. And I'm not a genius. I'm not the smartest man in the room, but I will work the hardest. I will follow through. I will be consistent and efficient. And if you do that, it's all going to work itself out. You can do it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Brian.
My pleasure, Jeff.
Thanks for tuning in to the WGU Alumni Podcast. For more information about all things WGU Alumni, visit wgu.edu/alumni. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day. Stay safe, everybody.